This is not only a friend of the show, but like a Hall of Famer with us.
Man.
Kalani Sitake, BYU football coach, with us on 365 Sports. How you doing? The life of a head coach is X's and O's and wins and losses, but it's about life and players that grow up, make mistakes. So you've had to kind of deal with that a little bit this summer. How does that affect you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm invested in these young men. So when you bring young men into your program and you get to spend time with them, and the thing that I'm really proud is that majority of our guys get the degree, and that one specifically, he has his degree. So I'm excited about that. But my main thing is to focus on helping these young men achieve their dreams, and hopefully I can help them continue the path that their parents already put them on to success. And I take it as like I'm trying to learn from them as much as I can too. So it's always difficult when you're dealing with attrition and also dealing with players in the transfer portal, things like that. But that's kind of the game what it is now. So I love being around people, and I love being around our players.
We had Chase Roberts on earlier, and you just want to be around that guy. But I did ask him about the quarterback situation that you've had to deal with. It is, you have disciplinary things that come up. How much does the actual situation that you were in last year, where you didn't know who your quarterback was going to be until week one, maybe help you and the staff deal with something that was totally unexpected for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in this game long enough. I mean, I have the same offensive coordinator and the passing game coordinator, and a lot of the coaches that make the decision on the offensive side that have been through other quarterback battles. And so, there's a time when Zach Wilson was in the quarterback battle, and Jaron Hall was in the quarterback battle. So last year it was between Gary Bohannon and Jake Retzloff, and this year, it's no different. So we're used to being in quarterback battles and competition. So I'm not really worried about it. I feel like I'd be worried if we didn't have capable players to without the depth. So the goal is to get as much depth as we can on this team at every position, and I feel really good about the guys and their abilities and the skill set that we have, especially in the quarterback room.
Do you believe in momentum coming off of a successful prior year, or is it all brand new?
I think the momentum has already started from when we got into the Big 12. I mean, I know a lot of people look at the results in the season, and they judge it just purely on that. You guys have been around me long enough now to see the comfort that we have being in this conference and the situation that we're in as a department in every sport. But now with football, we're working through the system and working through the process, and part of that is being comfortable and feeling like we belong. And when you're the new guys, it's hard to do that. Now going to the third year, we're feeling a little bit more comfortable with everything, and I think that'll still come with time. But the fact that we get to be an amazing conference with amazing partners and the universities that we get to go visit and compete against, I mean, that makes it a lot easier. And then I've been around these head coaches for so long now, and they've been so good to me, man. It's nice being friends with them. And then you get out there on the field and you compete, and it becomes, it becomes all competitiveness. And so everybody wants to win. But when you have the character that we have in these coaches, I know they're great coaches and they have amazing resumes, but man, they're really good people too. So it makes it a lot more fun. And I think we're right where we're supposed to be.
You're one of the few head coaches, though, that, because there's egos in the business, that Dion can get his brains beat in by you in a bowl game and then talk about how much he loves Kalani Sitake. Like, you literally seem to be everybody's favorite, or someone that everybody has tremendous respect for.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, I don't know if that's I think everybody has a high level of respect for each other. Man, that's Dion. I had a moment where I can talk to him. That I can you imagine being a young person and seeing prime time, and now he's a coach, and you have access to him, and coaches like him, and the amazing coaches that we have on. I mean, I'm a football junkie, so I'm all about. I kind of nerd out around all these coaches, and even because I love football, I see the up and comers like Kenny Dillingham and all these young coaches. So it's I think for me, man, I just appreciate being here and being around such good people. And then when you meet them and they're actually truly genuine and nice, man, it's just hard for me to pass up an opportunity to just like I know we got to go out there and play a game, but man, I hope that they feel that the excitement, energy that I have just from just meeting them and calling them a friend someday.
Does it's got to feel different though than obviously there can be these rivalries and them all. The coaches do not like each other. They're never going to like each other, and they're on the other side. But does it feel better after you win a game against a guy that you do like, as opposed to maybe one that there's animosity with?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't have any animosity towards anybody, and
that's why everybody likes you.
But I honestly don't think coaches are out there to try to not like somebody. But I think we have a responsibility to protect the game. This is the game of football that we all love, and it's still at an amateur level, even though there's rev share and things like that. What makes this game so lovable is that these are still young people trying to figure it out and trying to establish a program and trying to get themselves ready for the NFL. So we have to still think amateur and not think professional, but we got to have fun along the way too, and that's my focus is on things like that. I enjoy. I mean, life's too short. I enjoy getting to meet everybody and connect with them, and then seeing how just how sincere they are. And I think this conference for me is a perfect connection because these head coaches are amazing. And then you meet the ADs and you're like, dude, these guys are awesome. And so when you see them in college football and being the football junkie that I am, when you meet them in person, you're like, man, this is such a huge honor. It's a blessing for me to be in this position to connect, rub elbows and connect with these people. And it just goes the same thing with the media.
So we're here in the state of Texas. You've got a variety of Texas players that have been on your roster over the years, but one's here with you, and LJ Martin, and really love watching him. I was just curious your thoughts about him entering this season, kind of your expectations. I know that word's probably overused on a day like today especially, but just kind of your thoughts about LJ Martin entering this year.
Well, I mean, I can't believe he's a veteran now. It seemed like yesterday that he was a true freshman, starting and playing against Arkansas and all these teams, and honestly not feeling that the moment's too big for him. And so now that he's here, and if you know anything about LJ, really soft-spoken, and the fact that he's here being interviewed by so many people and feeling comfortable doing it, man, what a huge accomplishment for him. And so seeing him grow up and go from this really shy young man that even though he could play, when he put the helmet on, man, he's vicious. But allowing him to be a leader and to kind of feel comfortable in his skin, man, it's been really cool to see him. His freshman year, I don't know if he really said much, and now he's out there talking quite a bit, and he's actually being a leader for our program, and I'm just really proud of him and happy that he gets to be here and have this opportunity.
He's one of those guys that I knew, you look, and he's 6'2", 225 or whatever he is, and you're like, oh, that's a big guy. And then when he walked past earlier, I was like, no, that's bigger than I thought. It looks different in real life than just reading it on the paper. I would not want to jump in front of him if he's carrying the ball.
Well, I hope everybody feels that way. But I mean, he needs 10 other teammates on the field to do it right, and I think when you talk to LJ, he'll be the first to credit everybody for getting the job done.
You beat Arkansas early last year, and it seemed like no matter what you did the rest of the year, I know there was the blips on the radar, but it just seemed like that game was a huge game. They're an SEC team, and it never came up during the standings or whatever else. What is your take, Kalani, on the Big 12 and how it's looked at nationally, or do you spend time even thinking about that?
No, I mean, because I know the head coaches and I watch them. I watch the games and I cheer for them. You know what I mean? So especially when we're playing, there's a lot of pride that comes to the being. I mean, I think I told you guys before. You look at if you saw my bracket, it was. Let me just say there were 4 Big 12 teams in the Final Four, and I think that's the way it should be. It's probably going to be that way from now on because. I actually get to see the games, and I see these coaches, and I see their teams come into the Marriott Center when we play them, and I'm super impressed with everybody. And throughout all of the sports that are connected to the Big 12, and so there's a sense of pride that comes with it. I just don't know what people have to say negatively about Big 12, other than that this is a tough conference. I mean, you have to be physical to be here, and there's one way to settle it. Let's just play games then. I'm not against. Let's just play against our 3. There's 4 Power 4 conferences. for our 3 non-conference games, let's just play 1 in each conference. I'm not afraid of that.
Would love that.
Yeah, then we can figure out how. I like the flexibility in the playoff situation, but then we can figure out. Let's settle it on the field. Let's stop trying to campaign for it. Let's just play football and figure it out from there. I think the coaches in this conference would all agree that that's the right way to do it.
I want to pitch you my idea. Whatever team, like if you match up, say you guys played, Oregon, you should play Oregon in basketball, women's basketball, softball, baseball, and like that could be a thing for the whole year. Like make it a thing for
That's
the whole
great.
year.
But we have 2 national champions in cross country.
There you go.
I mean, something that I don't understand myself. There's no way I could run that long. And if you watch the cross country events, the coaches and spectators run from one spot to the next. So I'd rather watch that on TV. But but the athletic department is moving places and they're doing great things. There's some great momentum overall, and it's because of the Big 12. I'm telling you, and our fan base has been waiting for this for a long time.
You're a football player at heart. You don't need to run more than 100 yards at a clip. That's it. That's the longest distance.
100 is asking a lot from me.
That's
even 40 is probably like, can't you guys figure it out if I can run in 10 yards? if I can do it in 10 yards, you can just assume that I can do it for 40.
Kalani Sitake with us on 365 Sports. Craig?
There's all sorts of for every team here. There's narratives about what to expect and this and that. But what do you expect from your own team? I mean, what excites you about this BYU football team in 2025?
Well, I'm excited to coach no matter what the situation is in the season. The fact that we're here for media days means football is right around the corner. That's what I'm really excited about. But I'm not I know everybody looks at my job as to win games. That's not how I work. Winning and losing, that's a byproduct of how you respect the process that you're working through. So if we can focus on being our best. That's all I care about. Being at our best and trying to do that 12 times in a row. If we can get that done, I think we're going to like the results and we can live with the results, whatever they may be. So I can only control what we control. We're up against some monsters in this conference. So, let's see if our best can get there. Did we play our best 12 times last year? No. But did we see some moments of it? Of course. And I think the bowl game was one of those moments, So if I could replicate that every week, then I think we'll be in a really good spot. But that's the job. That's my job as a head coach, and that's what I'm trying to focus on. And I didn't do a good enough job of that last year.
If you have children, usually all of them are different. They're all unique in a certain way. Hillstead, Borgay, and then Bear Bachmeyer, they are all different in a certain way, and those are the guys competing. How have they taken on the challenge? What have you had conversations with them?
No, I don't need to talk about it right now with them. I just let them go out there and play. But there's a sense of, when you're competing for a second string spot, that's different.
Sure.
The sense of urgency now for it to be a possible starting spot, I think that you can sense it. You can feel it. It's in the air. I love that, man. I love the energy of competition. It's like, yeah, let's get these guys out there. I can tell you the common thing between all of them is that they can throw the ball. You have to be able to throw the ball. Our offensive system will work with whatever skill set they can do the best. We'll work with it. That's why I've asked A-Rod to create a system that is you look at it, the flexibility. It can work with so many different styles, and so I'm pretty sure when we get there, we just need to figure it out soon, so that we can get some practice in it before we get to the first game. But that's the fun in all of this, man. It's like right now we're looking at a difficult situation, but it'd be more difficult if none of those guys could play football. Yeah. So the fact that they can all throw, and 2 of them has started in FBS level already, so that gives us something that we can lean on. But when it gets down to it, I only know one way, and that's to play the best guys. The best guys will play, and that's every week. They got to compete and win their spot, and so that I don't see the quarterback position being any different.
And look, you get Bear. He was at Stanford, so he can read. So that's good.
Yeah, when he was in, it's unfortunate that they had to change that head coaching job, but he was in the mix with QB1 when he went there in spring. So they're all capable. They're all talented players. I just, it helps that they can read too. That'd be helpful.
Did you have a favorite non-football thing you've done this offseason?
Favorite non-football thing? I would probably. I'm getting old. I'm turning 50 this year, guys.
Oh wow!
So
It's Paul's getting there too.
Yeah,
I'm 45.
in October. You're
yeah.
pretty much there then, Paul.
Yeah.
The thing is, I just turned 50 by number. I felt 50 probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So, no, I mean, I love being a father, and so, just going through the changes. And I think for me, it's like realizing how old you are when you're telling stories, and they're like, when was that? And you're like, 94, my freshman year. And they're like, 94? They're like, oh, crap. Yeah, I'm talking about, like, stuff that was done a long time ago. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to realize that, when I talk about my time and there's no film to prove it, I told my son, I dunked the basketball when I was a freshman in high school. He's like, where's the film? I was like, I don't think it exists, but
That's like Dion's son saying, "Prove that you ran a 40 and 4.2 or whatever," and there's no video, and he didn't.
I can confirm I've never ran a 40 4.2.
Well, Shiloh said, "Look, I know that Jesus walked the earth because there's people who've written about it." He's like, but I mean, he's like, I have to take you on faith, and that's 2,000 years later. I don't know.
That's right.
That's the official. That's the official sign of aging. Is when you're trying to convince your kids that you actually did something before.
Yeah.
So
You know what blows my mind is that, like, okay, 94, that was like the first year of Friends. So your kids will watch Friends like we used to watch Happy Days and think wow, that's old.
Yeah.
You know?
exactly. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, you're making me feel even older now. I had to do the math real quick. Wait, am I turning 60 or 50? Which one is it?
Yeah.
Last thing is that Scott Frost, who won a national title at Nebraska in '97, says none of his players were born when he won that national title.
Yeah, I asked him if his players knew about his career. He's like,
Yeah.
That was '97. Well, none of them were born until like 2003 or 4 at the earliest.
And the video looks grainy, even though
Yeah.
it wasn't. Like, you look it up online, it looks grainy because we're so used to HD.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all of us. I don't even want to watch the old film of me. It's like, oh, please put it away. Give me HD. So I mean, things have changed now. People are just going to take us, take our word for it sometimes on some things. And but I think it's a cool sign. I don't mind getting old though. I've learned quite a bit along the way, and man, I felt like I've learned quite a bit, and just lessons I've learned. Some of them were harsh, but School of Hard Knocks have been good to me, and I'm okay with it.
One thing about the Big 12 and all the new teams is we got to meet you and get to know you, and it's been wonderful. Love it. You're part of it. Appreciate you every time you join us. We appreciate you, Kalani.
Right back at you guys. Thank you so much, and appreciate what you do for college sports.
Kalani Sitake, BYU football coach.
Let's go.